Ladies and gentlemen, I say good morning and welcome to BikeSocial. I'm Michael, that's Simon.
How do?
And we're in a lay-by off the A605 on a Monday morning at 6:30. And it's a bit parky, isn't it, mate? What are we doing?
It's a bit crazy. This is your idea and it's absolutely daft. Visiting every single BSB circuit in a great big loop over 3 days.
So it's the Bennetts British Superbike Championship. We've done it with title sponsored for 3 years. This is the new 2-year deal, first year of the 2-year deal. And we are, we're sponsored by Cardo Systems, who's given us the comms units for our helmets. And we are going to do, one great big loop. So what's that, 1,200 miles? And we're going to do it in about 2.5 days. Yeah. We're going to visit every British Superbike circuit that's going to be used in the 2021 Championship, and we're going to see a special guest at each one.
Excellent. So where are we starting? Where are we heading off first?
En route to Snetterton.
Right.
So we're 7 or 8 miles into the journey so far. Snetterton's maybe another hour.
Yeah, okay.
Probably.
And who are we going to bump into there?
Ryan Vickers, off of the RAF Regular and Reserves Kawasaki team. So they've got the new ZX10 for this year. It's a Lee Hardy Racing outfit. His 3rd season, I think, in BSB. And he's a local boy. So yeah, the idea is that we're going to see a local rider to each of the circuits.
And you're, much as I love the Hayabusa, I'm kind of slightly envious at the moment looking at your comfy riding position and your heated grips and
heated seat as well.
Heated seat on the V4S.
Yeah. So V4S is my long termer for the year. I'm really chuffed that this is my weapon for the next couple of days. It's comfortable. It's powerful. It's got all the tech and electronics, and it's filled with panniers. It's got all the bells and whistles that you'll want to need on a journey like this.
I've got all the bells and whistles as well, but I've had to bolt them on. So I've got my sort of little 12-volt socket, and I've got my phone put on here. But your phone just plugs in, and
that's such a convenient little cubby hole right in the top of the fuel tank there.
Oh wow!
Ideal for. You couldn't get a bigger phone than my 11 Pro. I think it's called the Apple 11 Pro. It just about wedges in. It's got the socket in there for the charger. It's got heated grips. It's got the heated seats. It's got adaptive cruise control, of course.
Yeah. Well, mine's got a big engine and it's really fast and it looks great.
I tell you what though, they're both pretty thirsty, right?
I was just going to say, you're going to run out of fuel first. I'll guarantee it. Excellent. Should we set off then?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Excellent. Right, here we are at Snetterton. We've arrived.
Welcome to circuit number 1.
Snetterton. Yeah.
The forecast was not as it was planned.
No, I'd fair to say that was a horrible ride. That was foggy and cold and pretty miserable and grim. But we're here.
Yeah, dark visors are not ideal for that kind of morning ride. I know we've got clear visors with us, but there's no chance of stopping.
Oh dear, I don't know about you, I feel frazzled already. It's only started. Right, what are we doing here? We've seen Ryan Vickers.
Ryan Vickers, yeah, he's with the Lee Hardy Racing team. They're sponsored by the RF Regular and Reserves. He's with them 3rd season now, and he's got a new Kawasaki for the season. So.
Let's go and talk to him.
Indeed.
Nicely done.
Here we are, welcome to Snetterton. We are at circuit number 1 of our 8 on this lovely tour, and our special guest waiting for us right here. Early, you're up so early, Ryan Vickers. Welcome.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, we've been excited to be here. It's nice to be back at the home circuit. I haven't been here since last year, so it's nice to see you guys and be at the circuit again.
You're literally just down the road.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Easy, yes,
I think I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning and I was here at 8.
Plenty of laps around this place then.
Yeah, no, we've done a fair few, but to be honest, it's same as any circuit. To be honest, it's a bit difficult to get on in the season and stuff like that, and with a superbike you don't really go and do track days anymore, so it's I don't really ride it any more than any other circuit, and it's only 5 minutes down the road. So
in terms of practice, so it's been the best part of 6 months, I think, since the last BSB round at Brands Hatch at the end of last season. What have you been doing between then and now?
Well, fortunately enough, last month I actually got away on a stock bike to Spain, just did some riding. But before that, it'd been 6 months, and that's why I did it. I just sort of invested in it myself and just went out there. The team supplied me with a bike and went out there on my own, done all my own mechanics and everything like that. So it's quite a big step for me because I've never really done that on like a proper bike sort of thing. So it was nice. We did, I think, roughly 400 laps. So it was good to learn 3 new circuits and also just get yourself back up to speed and get back into it, and then ready to roll on to the Silverstone test.
I guess it's a sort of a mental approach and a physical approach to being race fit.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's what you learned in the 400 laps, right? Where did you go?
So we went to Calafat for 4 days, then I went to Aragon for 3 days, and then Catalunya for 3 days. Nice. So we rode 2 very iconic circuits. New favourite circuit of Aragon, to be honest with you. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's just so nice, and you don't realise how many hills are actually at the circuit, and how difficult it is to see through the corners and stuff because of the undulations. So I really enjoyed that, and yeah, we got plenty of laps back in, and like you say, fitness wise, no matter how hard you train, I train so hard at home, when you get back on the bike it takes you a day or so just to get back into it, feel comfortable again, you know, especially after such a long time off the bike. You do lose that side of the fitness, but yeah, feeling really good on the bike now, so looking forward to it.
So mate, you're back with Lee Hardy Racing, RF Regular Reserves Kawasaki team for the 3rd season now, is that right? Yeah,
that's correct, yeah, 3rd season with these guys.
I guess that's a real benefit to any rider, I guess, having that understanding, the familiarisation with a team, with a setup like that.
Exactly. I mean, me and Lee, we get on really well, and we have a close relationship because they're only in Swaffham, which is another 10-15 minutes away, so it's really easy. We're always like in contact and going and doing bits, and he comes and watches me at motocross and whatever else and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, you do build a relationship over the years, and it's like you say, it's that continuity of just working with the same sort of people and same structure really. That's the thing. It's nice to be with them for the 3rd year, and we'll hopefully we can do a good job.
You can push on a bit this year. Now, new Kawasaki, of course, Ninja ZX10 for this year. Have you had a chance to ride it yet?
No, unfortunately not. We haven't ridden it yet, but I've seen it sort of in race trim, and the guys building it up at the workshop, and it's all coming together. The bike looks amazing, and from what I've heard and spoke to people who have actually ridden it, I'm excited to get out on it. I think it's going to be a good step, and a step that needed to be made, especially the aerodynamics and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see how much that helps, especially obviously in British Superbikes. It's more so than World, there's no electronics, so they're adding power each year and things like that. The bike's getting quicker, but we've just got to push our foot down harder to keep the front on the floor. So it's going to be interesting to see how much it actually helps, where it helps, and what it changes on the bike. We've got a few new parts on the bike as well, forks wise and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what those upgrades do, and I'm really excited to get to the track and start working forward with the team.
So Silverstone is the first official test. That's next week, and that'll be presumably that's the first time then you're going to ride the bike, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be the first time properly seeing the bike and things like that, and whatever else. And it'd be nice to get out there and to see what it's like. And Silverstone, to be honest, it's a good place to start. It's as easy as the tracks get. You know, it's not like Oulton Park where it's tight and undulating and stuff like that. It's dead flat, nice and smooth. So hopefully it can get a little bit warmer, and we can get out in the morning and utilise the full day's riding. So yeah, excited to get back out.
Mate, here's a question I'm going to ask every rider. Obviously you will win the championship in your mind, but in your mind, who's going to finish second?
Josh Brooks. It's got to be. You can't. You'd be silly not to put a bet on him that he's going to be close or the closest, just due to experience, bike, stuff like that. He's working well with the Ducati, obviously, because he won the championship last year, and got a lot of data. And again, his 3rd season with the team, same situation with me. It's nice to continue that, and you're only going to get stronger. So I think he'll be fast, and there's a lot of other people. I think the top 10 this year is going to be probably the strongest it's been, with a lot of people like Gino and people like that, and a lot of other people coming in that I think will be around that marker. And fighting for podiums and whatever else. So I think it's going to be a really exciting year. A lot of close racing as always, but I think there'll be a bigger group again. I think more people are going to be able to run away with that top 3 and stuff like that. So
it's
really
it's nice that there's a lot of younger riders, isn't there, at that sort of premium level in the Bennetts British Superbike Championship this year. There's a lot of younger riders. We'll talk about, you know, Rory Skinner and Taz is still young, isn't he? Even though he's been around for a while. And yourself, you know, I think that it's a real positive thing for the future of British representation in the kind of top level of motorsport. Do you think that the kind of that core has got what it takes to get into the likes of MotoGP, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's difficult to get into MotoGP nowadays anyway. There's limited spaces, and as you can see from watching the first 3 rounds, there's so many young rookies and stuff like that coming through. Like, you look at Pedro Acosta's and Fernandez's and people like that, and then also Jorge Martin, unfortunate at Portimao, but Luca Marini showed really good, strong pace. And these guys are rookies, so you are competing against these guys, and it's difficult to find a space and a way in. And I've talked to a few people that have actually ridden in MotoGP and stuff like that, and they said level of riding in BSB is very, very similar. You know, when you're at your very top level, look at Scott Redding, straight into World Championship, second in Championship, and he's done well in MotoGP in the past. So I think level of rider wise, everyone's got the capability when they're at their best, but it's finding the right opportunities and things like that. And also some people just don't want to go there. Some people, British Superbikes is where they want to get to.
Ryan, good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, mate. Thanks
Enjoy
for your
your
time.
journey.
We are leaving Snetterton now. We're off to Brands Hatch next. Hope it's a bit warmer down there.
We've arrived. We've made it.
Brands Hatch number 2 of 5 today. 8 in total.
Only 2. We're only on number 2.
It's deceptively sunny. The ladies and gentlemen will not know what we've experienced over the last 2 hours of
So when did the sun come out? So it was foggy.
Bang on 10 o'clock.
Was it?
Yeah, bang on 10 o'clock.
And we were just coming onto the M11, I think.
It went like the temperature gauge on here went from 3 to 11 like within a minute. And all of a sudden, all the heated stuff that I've got didn't need.
It's starting to get too hot. Yeah, it was pretty grim this morning, but I felt as soon as the fog burnt off, the sun would come out. So yeah, this is actually quite pleasant, isn't it?
How was the Hayabusa?
The Busa. It's a one-trick pony, but a really, really good trick. You slot into it, and you've got one riding position, and you've kind of got one mode, and it's great. It's great for that. But it hasn't. You still kind of miss that, like we were saying, the flexibility of being able to move around on the Ducati and and change position. But man, it's good for what it is. I enjoyed it. How about that thing?
It's ideal for the journey. Yeah, it's perfect, really. We've got so much luggage space. We've got so much comfort. You can stretch out. You can move. That seat's so big. You know, you can move back, move forward. Move your arms about.
Have you run out of fuel yet?
I can watch it as you accelerate hard onto the motorway. You can almost see it going.
You see it going down. Yeah. That's right. So what are we up to now then? So we're going to go
next.
We're going to go to the Thruxton after that. But first of all, we're going to go and pop and see Brad Ray.
Well, yeah, Brad Ray was supposed to be here. Just got a message. I don't know. He's got a hair appointment or a dentist or something, but he couldn't make it, which is a shame. So we'll have to find someone else. Scrape the barrel.
Someone else we can talk to. Okay, let's go.
Ready? Okay, so here we are at Brands Hatch. This is circuit number 2 of 8, and we were due to be interviewing local resident Bradley Ray, who is with the Rich Energy OMG team, but he has to go to the osteopath or the dentist or whatever. Anyway, so we've roped in another local resident with who wears glasses and has big hair. It's my colleague
just
Chris.
as fast, come on.
Of course you are, yeah. I don't know why they didn't choose you to represent them this year. Noobs, exciting times really with BSB this season. Again, it's always exciting. But I was saying to Ryan Vickers at the last round, a lot of the grid this year are young, aren't they? I mean, even with MotoGP, he made the point that look in the top level of world motorcycle sport, and everyone's whippersnappers, aren't they? They're just out their teens.
That seems to be the approach that a lot of teams are taking now. Like you say, Rory Skinner, he's coming up into BSB this season on FS3 Racing's new Kawasaki, and Storm Stacey, I think he was 17 last year, the youngest ever point scorer in BSB, I think. So yeah, real young crop of talent coming up and through, and it's fantastic that they've got a great stage like BSB to show it off on.
All right, so we're going to do a proper full-length season preview soon at the official test at Silverstone. But for now, just give us the highlights of what's new this year. We've got, how many races? 33?
33, yeah, 11 rounds, 33 races. Hopefully going to have fans back in some capacity throughout the season. From a Bennetts customer's perspective, we've got loads of experiences planned. A really exciting reward actually planned that's going to go live tomorrow, which is something pretty spectacular that we can't wait to share with everyone. And yeah, from a racing perspective, we've got some new bikes. We've got the BMW M1000RR, we've got a new Kawasaki, we've got some up and coming talent coming through from other championships. It's just going to be
hell of a season.
Hell of a season, yeah.
So we're here at Brands Hatch when? We're here twice, aren't we?
We're here twice.
Season?
July the 23rd, we're back here for the GP bonanza, really. It's one of the highlights of the year, the Brands Hatch GP race. And yeah, we'll be here for that in July, and then we're back here at the end of the season for the finale.
Yeah. And then we're here again for our Bennetts Rewards Customer Track Day as well, yeah?
Yes, we've got a couple of track days booked in this year, and we are here on the Indy circuit again. And last year we were blessed with the weather, similar to this actually. So us Southerners have this great weather. You don't know.
It was thick fog and 0 degrees first thing this morning. I'm glad we've come closer to the equator. Come on then, who's your top tip for the championship? You can't say Josh Brooks.
You do this to me every year. I do my predictions and then you rewind them to me at the end of the season and show how off I was. I'm going to go with this year Glenn Irwin on the Honda. Second year on the Honda. He came really close last year with a season with not much pre-season testing. He's the lead rider this year with 2 sort of rookies coming into his team, so he's really going to be Honda's sort of hope for the title, and I really think he can snatch it.
Good. Thanks for your time, mate.
Mega. Safe riding.
We're going to Thruxton next. We've got Tommy Bridewell. Let's go. So this will be the scene of round 4 of the 2021 Bennetts British Superbike Championship here at Thruxton, Hampshire. And what a beautiful day it's turned out to be. Now, local resident to Thruxton is this man, Tommy Bridewell.
Good day to you. Welcome.
Thank you for welcoming us to your hood.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't been robbed yet.
Too fast for that.
Exactly.
Are you well? You doing all right?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, no, all good. In the weird winter period, let's say, of training hard, working hard in preparing for getting back to hopefully a bit of normality of a BSB season soon.
Well, just like last year, we had a bit of a condensed season last year, and it's going to be a similar affair this year. But it's the same for everybody. Look, it's been 6 months since you last raced a superbike at Brands Hatch. So what have you been up to in the meantime?
So me
making
just
brownies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, not very good at that now. Just been busy training as like normal, really, and just tried to put a lot more of fun stuff in my training program. So got back into motocross actually, a lot of motocross. So been out to Spain doing that, and just to keep fit, but not rode a superbike or a road bike since the last round. But I feel like the motocross has helped me quite a lot just to keep bike fit. I feel really good in myself. I built a gym at home, so luckily through the lockdowns I've been able to continue with my program. Just ducking and diving as I always do, really. So yeah, kind of eager to get back to what my life is kind of built around, as weird as it is to say. My life is being brought up with motorbikes. So last year was hard, very condensed season over 6 rounds. So yes, this year's a bit delayed, but I'm looking forward to going back to Cadwell, almost having a more structured season of over 11 rounds. We got 3 races per weekend. The qualifying in stuff's a little bit different now. So yeah, looking forward to getting back with the team and getting back to work.
And coming here, of course, coming to Cadwell, Knockhill.
Yeah, exactly. This is always a joy. It's I think my record 24 minutes to get from home to here. But yeah, it's always a joy to come up here, especially when the weather's nice and hopefully the weather will be good for when we're racing, because it's such a fun track, and it's just a hard place to get tyre management. So even though you're always developing as a team to make the bike as best you can ready for the races, you also have the element of you have to control your well, I have to control myself for the end of the race for keeping the tyres. So yeah, it adds an added bit of extra thought in there.
And you're on the Ducati Panigale V4R again this year with the same team, with the Oxford Products Motor Rapido Ducati racing team.
That's a mouthful, yeah.
Is that one? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, it was right. Yes, back for another year with them. This would be my third year with them. We just get on really well. We bond well. The team works well. They appreciate the effort I put in outside the racing, and so do I to them. Like, you know, so there was no reason to try and do anything different. The bike is, you know, the strongest out there. Unfortunately, yes, you know, I was a little bit vocal about it, but we didn't have a very good year last year. It was no secret. We had issues with the tyres and a few little issues that hampered us. In where it was such a condensed season over only the 6 rounds, I felt like it kind of was also a bit of a spanner in the works. So
because everything was on top of each other, you didn't have the time to develop?
Exactly. We just kind of could have done with having our struggles and then kind of going away and having maybe a 2-week break or 3-week break and going, right, what's the issue? Yeah. Where it was almost like race, weekend off, right, we're back racing. The trouble is it's not really, by the time you get home, the team unload and pack out and so on and get back, that's, you know, pretty much Monday, Tuesday morning, and then you're reloading, you know, a week later to go for the next round. So we just got, you know, just caught us. So we're ready, we're prepared for this year. The team's done a lot of electronic work. Nice numbers from the dyno the other day. So yeah, really positive. Will from the whole team's positive. I'm positive. So I feel like if I was to have a bit of a speed bump in the road with the team, then I'd rather it last year over the COVID Cup. And get back to our sort of strong ways for this season.
Yeah. And can you let us into the numbers on the dyno?
No. It was, to be honest, yeah, no, exactly. All bikes, all dynos are different, as you know, viewers will know. You know, air temperature, pressure, so on makes a big difference on dynos. But I was amazed, if I'm honest, because not that many years ago, you'd be, you know, a good superbike would be 202 horsepower, where way over that. So yeah, positive numbers, but
you've got to apply that horsepower, haven't you? You've got to get it through the rear wheel.
Numbers are kind of irrelevant. You'd never go, you know, you would never go to Cadwell, for example, and use 200 and plus horsepower.
Oh, you nearly gave it away there.
Yeah, but it is, to be fair, places like Thruxton where you want the outright speed up the back straight, but then you also don't want the power coming in ridiculous because you'll just burn your tyre up. So yeah, it's not all about that. For me, it's getting the feeling of the chassis, getting rid of the chatter that we had last year, which we have some positive ideas in. Hopefully, touch wood, we should have a crack now. If that is the case, then I feel like I should be able to roll out it round 1 in straight away, be fighting for the podium again.
Do you feel as though you're at an advantage given your familiarity with the bike and the team versus, especially because there's a new Kawasaki out for this year and there's a new BMW that a lot of teams are using too, so you're already perhaps one step ahead? Yeah,
do you know what? The new Kawasaki ain't much different really. It's got a different style fairing, perhaps revs a little bit higher and different engine. I don't know, it's not that. It's not reinventing the wheel, is it? And the BMW, it looks like they've just bolted a set of wings on the side. So realistically, from what I understand from some of the World Endurance teams I get on well with, the BMW is not much different. But hey, who knows? Yes, the benefit is me riding the V4R. I know it very well now. I know the characteristics of it and I love it. And it worked really well with the team. So like I said, it's just for us to get on top of if we get on top of our issues, then I'm not concerned about the rest really. So yeah, we'll be fine.
So Tommy, in your mind, obviously you're going to win the championship, but who's going to finish second?
It's like Grand Prix a little bit. It's almost like you don't quite know, do you? Like there's new young lads coming in. You know, they're eager to make a name for themselves. There's people, you know, that are strong. Generally, I wouldn't pinpoint it down to any rider. You know, they are all equally as talented as each other. So it's about who works the hardest over a weekend. I think this year is going to be the hardest working and the most prepared teams, riders that will rise to the top. So hopefully that's us.
There's a car track day on at the moment here at Thruxton.
Oh, yeah.
Given the choice of any car, if you want to go out and do 3 laps right now, what would it be?
Oh, do you know what? The list is endless. I love the Nissan GTRs. I love the Teslas. I'd love a Model X Tesla, but I don't know. It's a hard question. Wow, exactly. Looks fast anyway. Yeah, it's so hard. So many fast, cool cars out there, but I'm not that clued up with cars, to be honest. Yeah.
We'll stick to 2 wheels, shall we?
Exactly.
Good luck for the season. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Right, well, that was Tommy Bridewell, local to Thruxton, so it's good to see him. It's nice of him to come down.
That was a good chat, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's a nice fella. He's always got a lot to say for himself as well, which is cool. Yeah, it's easy. It's like pulling the cord, isn't it, on the back of the...
Just let him run for it. Yeah, that's good.
Right, where are we going next? Silverstone, isn't it, next?
Silverstone, hour and a half away. Another hour and a half. So it's an hour and a half from Snetterton to Brands, hour and a half from Brands to Thruxton, hour and a half to Silverstone.
Good. All
Should we do it?
Let's go.
Let's hit the road. Here we are.
Silverstone.
Silverstone.
The home of British motorsport, apparently.
Okay.
I can't argue with that, can you?
I certainly
Look
can't.
at Brands
No.
Hatch, we would argue with that.
It certainly seems to be so kind of central compared to all the other circuits. It's pretty much in the middle. So what are we doing here?
We are meeting local man Kyle Ryde. He's excited to leave Silverstone.
He wants to get away.
Bye.
Excellent, good. So Kyle Ryde, and Kyle rides for...
He rides for the Rich Energy OMG racing team.
Right, should we go and see him?
Aye. Mate, he's not coming, is he?
He's not coming, is he? He's not going to turn up.
Too busy motocrossing. Sorry, I mean preparing for the season.
Preparing for the season.
Professionally.
What are we going to do? I mean, how did he get on last season?
Actually, it's funny enough we come to Silverstone, A, because it's not his local circuit, Donington is, he lives a stone's throw, but we've already bagged Tarran Mackenzie for that. So he was doing us a bit of a favour coming an hour down the motorway to come here. Anyway,
Okay.
But ironically, this was a happy hunting ground for him last year. The condensed season, they had 3, like this season, there's going to be 3 races at each round, and there's 11 rounds this season, 33 races. Similar principle to last year, although slightly shorter. But he won 2 of the 3 races here.
Oh, okay.
So he got on really, really well. They obviously found some mega setup on that Suzuki. He was with Hawk Racing last year.
So he's riding a Suzuki here last year.
Yeah.
This is a power circuit,
Yeah,
is it not?
Yeah.
So that kind of...
It's short and sweet, really. It's a bit of a blast, fast turn, blast, fast turn.
Okay.
So it's no sort of stopping and starting. It's not hard on the brakes anyway, particularly.
Ah, okay. All right.
But he's he mastered it well. He did a really good job, and put himself in real contention. But this year he's on the BMW. He's on one of the many M1000 RRs that are on the grid. With he's joined forces with Brad Ray. Funnily enough, another non-show.
Ah,
there's a
I
theme.
detect a pattern here.
And they're in the Rich Energy OMG Racing
Right.
squad.
Oh well, not quite so rich on energy, are they, to be able to show up? Anyway, never mind. Okay, so he's on one of the many BMWs. So what? as a sort of, I mean, like many people, I think I've got a really kind of focus on MotoGP, and BSB is kind of second best for me. But so tell me what's changed this season. Is there anything sort of new that we should know about? Any rule changes? Or
Yeah, other than the difference in the schedule, there's a difference in the showdown. So again, traditionally, it's been the top 6 riders with 3 rounds to go. They go into their own sort of separate championship, you know, the title fight. This has now been extended to 8 for this year, just to make it incentivise, I think, the level of competition, to try and get people to really, you know, to fight to get in there and to give them a few more riders a chance to win the championship.
Okay, 8 races.
8 races, yeah.
That sounds like that's nearly half the season.
No, 8 racers.
8 racers.
So 8
Sorry,
with,
right, I gotcha.
That'll be with 3 triple headers to go, so they've got 9 races to sort out who wins.
Yeah. And
then there's a slightly different format to qualifying this year, and then there are several different racer movements in and around the paddocks. You've got the new M1000RR, which has been used by several teams. So the OMG team, the Taz Racing team, Cinetic BMW. That's the guys over in Ireland.
Yep.
So they're the official BMW back team, the factory team, as it were. Then there are the FHO Racing team, which was Smith's Racing.
Okay.
And has been taken over by Fei Ho, who is. She's based up in Louth, or they've got a factory in Louth. And they've got Xavi Forez, who was in BSB, then he went back to World Superbikes last year, and now he's coming back to BSB.
Okay.
So he's got a year under his belt in this championship, and he's a good rider. He's a fast rider. He's a clever rider. He's got a lot of experience. So he should be definitely one to look out for if they can get that BMW up and running quickly as well. And his teammate is road racing's fastest bloke, Peter Hickman. Yeah. So there's plenty of BMWs on the grid, and then the new Kawasaki, the Ninja ZX10.
Okay.
So that's with the FS3 racing team primarily. That's the Kawasaki team. Also the Lee Hardy racing team that we saw Ryan Vickers earlier on.
Yeah.
So FS3 have got Lee Jackson and Rory Skinner. Another 2 young racers. Rory dominated Supersport 600 last year. He won almost every race, and he's a real talent, that boy. He's a good lad as well. We're going to see him at Knockhill, and we've talked about it actually several times already today. There's a lot of younger riders
that struck me
at this kind of level.
Yeah.
And then Ryde made the point, didn't he, about actually in MotoGP there's a lot of younger riders too.
Yeah.
So it is turning into a young person's game, isn't it? Even at this level, you know, we're talking about.
Which is good, because, you know, for a long time I think BSB was turning into a bit of an old man's sort of class, wasn't it? Not so much the Scotch Reddings, but, you know, the Josh Brooks. Is Josh Brooks still around?
He's the reigning champion. He'll be running the #1 plate this year, and he'll definitely go in as favourite. He's on what is arguably the quickest bike. You know, it's won the championship 3 of the last 4 seasons.
Right.
Well, that team has, and then it's the V4 version of it that's won with Scott Redding and with Josh Brooks last year.
Yeah. Josh must be close to retirement, surely. I mean, he's been around for donkey's years.
He's got a lot of experience, that's for sure. He's still younger than both of us.
Well, yeah.
He's one of those guys who's really, really focused about his job. We spoke to him. Luke Brackenbury spoke to him on a Superbike Sunday podcast recently, and he was out in Australia, and he's just so determined and so focused, and so that's what he loves to do. And his teammate's Christian Idden for the 2nd year running. Christian put in a good show last year. He won his first BSB race at Snetterton. He'll push Josh this year. Yeah. And then it's just a question of who's next, I think. Yeah. Because the Hondas have had a year now with the Fireblade. They've got Glenn Irwin, sort of spearheading. I don't like that term, but he's the sort of the #1 rider there. And they've got a couple of Japanese guys in, who are running as part of the Honda sort of. I guess it's like the youth team in a way. They farm them out, they loan them out from Japan, and they go to the different championships and learn their trade.
Well, that's always exciting, isn't it, when a sort of an exotic Japanese rider turns up? And
Takahashi and Mizuno.
Excellent. Mizuno, they're trainers, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. He'll be. I think it's something to do with tread. He'll have lots of grip.
No, that should be good. Yeah, that'll be good. And what about I have some memory of a bad boy. Speaking of Irwins. Kind of a slightly controversial figure of Andy Irwin.
Andy Irwin and Josh Brooks came to blows at Donington Park last year. Yeah, it was a bit of a 50-50 challenge coming out turn 1 where Josh Brooks went down, and there was all sorts of hoo-ha, but Andy Irwin had a bit of
It looked a
form,
little bit less than 50-50 to me, but
well, Irwin of course had got a bit of form from the previous season with Scott Redding
yes,
as well,
exactly.
at Cadwell and at Silverstone here.
So is he around this year, or?
Yeah, he's moved from Honda to the Snetterton BMW team.
Oh, okay.
With Philip Neal, and his teammate will be Danny Buchan.
Okay.
All 9'6" of him. Again, a really, really top bloke. We spoke to him recently on the podcast. He's moved from Kawasaki. He's moved with Kawasaki for donkey's years, and now he's on the BMW. And he should be, he's a physical rider. He's got the ability. He's got the stature to really manhandle a bike, and he comes in with a really cheery disposition as well, which makes, I think, as a fan, you really kind of want him to do him well, because he's always smiling and always happy to talk to the likes of us as well.
It always seems to me, in my head, it's a contest between Danny Buchan and Josh Brooks to who can jump the highest over the mountain at Cadwell.
They're both very talented there, aren't they? Yeah, it's more for the gram, isn't it?
That's why they all do motocross in the off-season, isn't it? So they can all go to Cadwell and show off. They'll be doing the old, I don't know what they call
stuff.
knick-knacks.
Oh, knick-knack, yeah. Knick-knack paddy, right? Yeah. So I think the Bennetts British Superbike Championship of this season, again, we say every season it bodes well. It looks like it's going to be a close fight, and a bit like MotoGP is. You can almost throw a hanky over them all, and the times are going to be close. We're back here at Silverstone on the national circuit for the first official test. That's coming up in the next few days, so that'll be I guess that'll give us a bit of an idea of who's doing well. But equally, there are some guys out there who haven't ridden their superbikes yet.
I was going to say, it sounds like there's a lot of new machinery this year. Well, new as in inverted commas, but still kind of unknown quantities, perhaps. Yeah. Interesting.
It's good to have it back. It's good to be going to all of the circuits, 8 circuits, as we know, because we're going to visit them all now. And Silverstone here is our 4th of the day. And
are we only on number 4?
Yeah, we've got Donington to go.
God, how far is that? Is that another hour and a half away?
Everything seems to be an hour and a half away.
Apart from Knockhill, which I'm really looking forward to.
An hour and a half away.
No, but that's going to be a proper ride. No well, a little bit of motorways, but mostly.
Yeah,
should we crack on to Donington then?
Yes, mate, let's do that.
Excellent. It's all happening at Donington Park.
Oh, sorry, I was watching them. There's a Triumph launch on. It's the Speedable 1200 RS, so a lot of my fellow press types are all here. Yes, Donington Park, 5th and final stop of the day, or 5th and final circuit of the day. Actually, we've got to go to, we're staying up near Oulton Park, aren't we, tonight?
We are.
So we've got an early start tomorrow. So we've got another, everywhere, like you said, everywhere's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
From our previous destination. So I think we've done about 430 miles, I think, this morning, since this morning, 12 hours ago.
We've been on the road for 12 and a half hours, I know that much.
Yeah, 99% of it's been motorway.
All motorway. But tomorrow will be better.
Oh.
We shall see.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go and see young Tarran Mackenzie,
Okay.
local boy. I think he's only literally just down the road. He's the McCams Yamaha man. I think it's his 4th season with the team. And he's another one of the whippersnappers.
Another young lad.
So, yeah,
They're
I'm
all
sure
young when you're going grey, aren't they? Right, shall we go and see him then? And then hightail it out of here.
Indeed, let's go. Tarran Mackenzie, welcome to BikeSocial. Thank you for being here. Thank you for availing your time. So we're closing in at the start of the season. I know we're still a couple of months away from the first race, but the first official test starts in a few days. You must be just so excited. It's been like 6 months since you last raced.
Yes, definitely been the longest time I've had off a bike. Round 12 in October at Brands Hatch feels like a long time away, or a long time ago. So to have a date and know that I'm going to be on track next week at Silverstone, it's amazing, and can't wait to get going.
Have you done much in the last 6 months on a bike?
Probably in the last month or so when the weather's been better. I've been on 2 track days now at Silverstone and Cadwell, and just on my practice bike just to blow the cobwebs off and get ready for the BSB tests really. But normally I'll go to Spain, do track days, do a bit of training out there, but obviously all of that stopped, so yeah, it's been strange times for everyone, I think, but yeah, the end is near. There's light at the end of the tunnel, as they say, and yeah, not long now till the start of the season.
What about? So you're still with the same team, in the Mackenzie Yamaha team. You're on the same bike, does it feel like it's just a real neat atmosphere that you're familiar with, and does that help? Does it give you an advantage, perhaps, when you're so familiar with the team around you, the bike underneath you?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be my 4th season now in Mackenzie Yamaha. Pretty much everyone in the team stayed the same from the first day I got there. So that continuity is really important for me, and it is like a little family when I go in, see them start of every year. It just feels like I've never left, really. So it is really nice. We've all got a really good bonding relationship, and that definitely helps from the first year in 2018 till now, 2021. The bike is still very similar to how I first rode it, but each year we've made a good step forward and improved a lot. So although this year the bike's not changed massively from the 2020 bike, I think that the improvements made last year, we can carry that forward this year into a proper season, with lots more races and rounds, and it's only a good thing, I think.
Can you tell us a bit more about that, about perhaps where you were missing that last quarter of a second?
For me, there was a new style Pirelli tyre that we had at the start of the year, and I thought everything was fine basically until I got to the first round, and I struggled a lot. I struggled at the first 2 rounds, really. Kind of clicked at Silverstone and got my first win there, and then from then on, the end of the season was quite good. I think in the last 6 races I was on the podium 4 times. And that was just a real positive to go into the winter end of the season with a lot of confidence and on a high, and I think it was just about, I didn't really want the season to stop. Normally you get to the end of the year and you've been battered and bruised and been in A&E and you're happy for the season to finish as it's getting cold, but there was that much momentum for me that I just wanted to carry it on. But it's nice that we ended on a high, that we can bring that into the start of this year. We go to Silverstone, a track where, for the first test, a track where Mackenzie Yamaha has been notoriously good since 2018. So it's nice having a starting point there where we know the bike works well, and we can just carry on from where we left off, really.
You talked about carrying that momentum, that confidence. Does that ebb away? I mean, October till the next time you get on the bikes, it's 6 months, if not more.
Yeah.
It's all very well coming away from the last round thinking, oh great, I had a lot of four podiums in 6 races. But does that just?
Well, yeah. I normally get to the first round, and first test, it takes me a few laps to get my knee down and understand where the clutch and brake lever is. But it's not so much the confidence, it's more knowing that the bike worked well. For me, or for the team this year, there's not massive improvements on the bike, so we know we have a great base setting somewhere that we can start off and work from, and it's not a new bike, or there's nothing that different on the bike, so we can have a good starting point and sort of kick the testing off in the right way, hopefully, and carry that on into the start of the season.
You talk about familiarity with the bike, with the team. There's been a lot of movement elsewhere in the paddock, around the paddock, with riders moving to different teams, with teams using the BMWs, for example. They've got the brand new M1000RR and there's the new Ninja ZX10 out as well. Do you think that gives you guys the advantage over all those other guys who are in either new teams or with new machinery? Possibly.
There is a lot of tests before the first round, so I'm sure these new teams with new riders and new bikes, there'll be plenty of track time before the start of the season. I know a couple of years ago there was a brand new red bike on the grid that everyone thought was going to take a while to get up to speed, and that definitely wasn't the case. So I'm not taking anything for granted, really, and just concentrating on myself, and I know what works good for me, and that's the only thing I can concentrate on, really. Everyone else will sort themselves out, but BSB is as competitive as it's ever been. There's lots of good riders on good bikes. And you saw last year every manufacturer was pretty much on the podium, so it's going to be competitive as ever, but well up for it.
I think that's what makes it one of the most exciting series in the world, perhaps.
Definitely, yeah.
We've talked earlier on to some of your racing colleagues about almost like the average age of the BSB paddock, and then it dawned on me that actually probably the average age of the MotoGP paddock is you know, so much lower than it perhaps it used to be. I mean, you know, a lot of people used to talk about it being a bit of an old man's paddock, and now all of a sudden you've got the likes of Storm Stacey, yourself, you're hardly an OAP, Rory Skinner, Brad, you know, all these people who are 19, 20, 21. It does that. I mean, in terms of the future of the sport, in terms of the future of BSB, surely it bodes well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Or should I say, the future of British representation on a world level?
Yeah, I think so. BSB is a great platform from when you first start there as a kid to get into BSB. There's every sort of championship's really competitive. And I think maybe in the past there probably wasn't that. The Supersport class was really competitive and the Superbike class, but every class now seems to be strong. The few you mentioned there, like Brad Jones, Joe Francis, Ben Curry's been in Superbike, Kyle Ryde, Brad Ray. Yeah. I've raced all these since I was like 16 and through Stock 600 and Supersport and then into Superbike. So I think each class is working definitely, and yeah, the oldies seem to be getting kicked out as the years go on. I know when Dad first started, he came back. Well, he started BSB towards the end of his career in his mid-30s, or early 30s. And his rivals were like Steve Hislop, who probably wasn't that young at the time, and Michael Rutter, and I think he's still 87, Michael. So, but it is. It's a nice sign of the times that it's the younger riders are coming through and they've been given the chance, and they're all making the most of it, and it seems to be working well at the moment.
Taz, obviously in your mind you're going to win the championship, but who's going to finish second?
With my Macam Yamaha hat on, I'd say Jason Halloran, but I think if I was to win, Josh Brooks would probably be the next strongest. He's the benchmark for everyone. I think on paper he's had the most championships, most podiums, most wins. He's on a very good bike and a very good team, and with a lot of experience. He's no young pup now, mid-30s I think, but he's definitely for me the target going into the year.
Could be the father for most of the paddock.
Yeah.
Mate, good luck for the season. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I think you've got a young fan who perhaps wants a selfie.
I seen you doing wheelies.
Morning, day 2, stage 2, Oulton Park, funnily enough, if you can't read, in lovely, beautiful Cheshire. Sixth, it is the 6th, isn't it? 6th circuit we've been to.
Good grief.
Yeah, did 5 yesterday, only doing 2 today and 1 tomorrow, but there's a long way between them. So we're, Oulton Park, we're going to meet a young fella called Joe Francis. It's his 3rd season in PSB, and yet again, there's a car track day.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they're so popular. Maybe everyone's just so excited to get back on track they've got to get their cars out.
We're in the wrong game, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's nicer today, isn't it? At least, anyway, the weather's better.
It's a shame we can't get on track, really. But we're
Well,
going to
these
show
fellas.
those 4-wheel boys what to do.
Cool.
Right, let's go.
Let's go.
Joe Francis, welcome to BikeSocial. Thanks for coming down here. But it's your local track, though, isn't it? So it didn't take that long, surely.
Yeah, it's only for me 15 minutes down the road. Obviously, very local. So yeah. It's literally perfect.
You must know this place inside out.
I do have a very good knowledge of the place. Obviously, coming here since I was coming here to watch BSB when I was 2 or 3 years old. So I do know the place quite well, and it's obviously it does help at times.
Superbike's in your blood, then, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're visiting here twice this year. We open the season here, and we come later in September. Being a local circuit, does it give you like that extra bit of energy? Do you feel as though you're at home? Do you feel more comfortable here?
Yeah, it honestly, like I said, it's just it's perfect for me being so close, and after each day of riding I can go home and just sort of switch off, which is quite nice on a race weekend, to just be able to switch off and then come back, reset, and it's perfect.
And look, we get the name of your team correct here, so it's a bit complicated. I-Force Lloyd and Jones PR Racing BMW.
That's the one.
And you're with them for this is the 3rd season now, isn't it?
Yeah, 3rd season with them guys, and it's been a lot of progress in them 3 years. It started off, it was tough. We started off outside. I don't even know where we were. We weren't doing good, and we've obviously got the new BMW, and we built up as a team. Obviously, I've developed, and they've sort of have got better with me. So it's been good.
Do you feel as though that familiarisation with the team, with the bike, with the setup, it gives you a sense of calmness when you arrive, so you don't have to worry about new people to impress, a new bike to learn, things like that?
It does. It makes life a lot easier in the sense it's the first time I've done that in my career, and I've often said in the past if I could maybe just have one more year with that same environment, I feel like it would have been a lot stronger. So it has proved to myself that is the case. I know going into the test at Silverstone, I know what to expect. That I know where everything is. There's just the little details, and it just makes you're more relaxed really than anything.
Yeah. And what about this new bike that's coming this year? So the new M1000RR. There's going to be plenty of them on the grid, but you've got one. Are you going to? Will there be much difference between that and the S that you were running last year?
I think the wings obviously is a big difference, the frame, and maybe the engine slightly, but I see it being. I can't see it being feeling a lot different. It should be hopefully just an improvement on the areas we were struggling. So if that is the case, it should be a strong package hopefully.
Do you know what areas they were that you were struggling with?
Yeah, massively. We struggled braking more than anything. Was just unable to stop. Noticed it a lot at hard braking circuits with hairpins, and Donington was a big one. I felt like my pace early on in the race, I was running about 7th or something like that, and I felt like I caught the group to about 4th, and then as soon as I got caught from behind, once I got there, I couldn't stop. So people could pass me, but I couldn't attack back. And with that being a strong point to how I ride a bike, always been good on the brakes. It took a lot of my strengths away. So to still be that strong without that, if we do improve that, then I feel like we can do very well.
Fantastic. And what about these wings? Do you think they're going to make much of a difference?
From what I'm hearing from people, they obviously work on the Honda, Ducati and the other bikes, so if that's the case, it's meant to help with wheelie, which obviously somewhere like Oulton Park, you spend your life on the rear brake just trying to stop wheeling, so if it does do that, hopefully it'll help a lot.
Yeah. Now it's been 6 months since you last raced. What have you been doing in training wise? It's there's such a massive gap between the end of last season and the start of this season, much like this time last year, of course, with the pandemic. But does that? What have you been doing first of all?
Well, I work full time, so obviously working's been non-stop with building. That's been great, and I've just been suffering the early mornings, cycling in the sometimes get back, and honestly, it's been horrific. The cold and. Cycling's been a big part of my training. Motocross, that's always been a big part of my training. Just trying to keep fit the best you can with gyms closing. I've just tried to keep my strength up. Just little bits of what you can do, but honestly, I'm coming in fitter than I've ever been, and I feel good.
Do you? Are you sort of injury free? I know that you've been affected over the last couple of seasons, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always had a few injuries, and that's held me back in previous years, but so far, touch wood, I feel good in myself, and just feel like I'm developing, strength, and coming into. I'm still only 23, so I feel like I'm finding a bit of more natural strength now, and with my fitness, it's just every piece is sort of slowly coming together.
You're a tall guy. You talk about your physique. Does that help manhandle a superbike?
Yeah, I find it. You obviously got more weight to move around on the bike, but in other areas, if you're heavy with it, you can affect the speed. But I'm really light, so for me it's an advantage if I can obviously tuck in on a long straight. I see it as a bit of an advantage.
Can't believe you're 23. I mean, it seems not that long ago since we were helping you out with Super Teens, and you romped that championship. But your career's taken a nice progression, hasn't it? You've tried your hand at several different bikes. You're familiar with the British circuits now. what's the next step after British Superbikes? Assuming you're going to win the title in the next couple of years, then what?
My plan's obviously World Superbike, but I'd love to get to GP, but unless it's the right place, right time, you never know if that can happen. But if that opportunity arose, obviously I'd jump at that. But for me, I want to win the British Superbike Championship, hopefully in the next few years, like you said, and move on. And I want to win a World Superbike title. So they're the goals. That's what we're chasing every day. So I see it's achievable. So definitely, I believe that, and I know I can do it. It's just a case of making it happen now.
Talk about being 23. I think it's a bit of a golden generation at the moment. We've got the likes of yourself and Storm Stacey, Tarran Mackenzie, Rory Skinner, Brad Jones. All those guys are late teens, early 20s. It's really good for the sport, isn't it?
It's great. It's showing that it's nice, because sometimes a lot of teams go for experience, which you can't blame them, because the experienced guys do have a lot to offer. They've got a lot of knowledge, but that's nice that now the championship's breeding a lot of younger people, and hopefully we're the guys that for years to come can be like your Johnny Rays and the people who've you seen for years, that once they've moved on, then hopefully we can take over and be keeping the British hopes alive and being strong like all them guys have been.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us, buddy.
Thank you.
And we'll good luck for the season.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the Silverstone test, and then back here for the first rounds.
We'll be there.
Good stuff. Right, we must move on. We've got Knockhill to get to, which is a long way from here. See you there. Ta-da! Knockhill, we finally made it.
Hooray!
What a long day on the saddle, though.
Yeah, long day on my saddle. Yeah.
Good. So this is going to be the scene of the second round of the championship this year. So I think that it's early July. 3 races here. The tight and twisty track that was resurfaced 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. And local resident and BSB newbie Rory Skinner will be joining us here.
Excellent. Should we go and see him?
Let's go. Rory, thanks for your time. Thanks for giving up your time. I say that, but actually you only live down the road, don't you? This is your local circuit.
Yeah, it most definitely is my home track, Michael. It's only about 35-40 minutes down the road for me, so it's as local as they get on the calendar. I mean, I think Oulton's the next closest one, and that's like 3.5-4 hours. So from there on in, it does get a bit far away. But yeah, you even brought the rain up from England today, as you can see.
I put it in the panniers especially for you. What did you say? It was comforting? No,
yeah,
character building.
Character building.
So, matey, you must know this place like the back of your hand, inside out and upside down. How many laps do you reckon you've done around here already in your young years?
I've done a fair few, but not as many as you'd think, to be honest, because I only raced here when I was 11, and then I looked for a couple of times when I was 12, and then after that I went out to Spain. So I raced here in 2013, a little bit in 2014, and then from then on, it wasn't really until 2018 and 19 and 20 I kind of got here. So I've done a fair few in that time period, and in the laps I've done, I really do like it.
You're saying that you've been testing her in the snow recently, and that is character building.
Yeah, that's just how it is at this time of year, isn't it? It was going into the hairpin. I got a little video on my Instagram, me backing it in. You can see in the background it's snowing as well, but yeah, it was alright. It was more just like mental rain but mental snow, so the next couple of laps pulled in. But yeah, you get everything here at Knockhill, but they do a great job preparing the track. It's been resurfaced a couple of years ago, and I think it's probably one of the grippiest tracks I've ever ridden in my life. Even the MotoGP tracks when I was in the Red Bull Rookies and the Junior World Championship tracks as well, this one's just like the grip levels are second to none.
You wouldn't even think of that. And now off camera, we were just talking about, you were talking about the grip levels and the difference in times with a wet lap and a dry lap of barely anything.
I know, it's crazy. It's only a few seconds really to cover a wet lap to a dry lap here. It's really close, but it's just getting your head around how grippy it actually is, because in the wet you don't really get any notice until it's going, gone. And it's no, it is good. The circuit is pretty predictable and you do know what you get.
So let's talk about your progression to the British Superbike Championship. Obviously you came up through Super Teens, didn't you, and then Red Bull Rookies, and then, I mean, it's fair to say perhaps your career tailed off a little bit, and then with that Super Sport ride, you really put your name out there again, didn't you? You dominated that thing.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it was we went through early on it was the Fab Racing and then into Super Teens, and then after that it was into the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup and the Junior Championship as well. And then, I had a good few seasons there racing with the very, very best of them. Some of them are coming through now and winning Grand Prix races there at the weekends. So it was definitely a learning experience, that's for sure. And after that I kind of didn't really have much. It was the British Talent Cup was what I went into after that, and for whatever reason that didn't lead me to where it should have. And we went down the 600 route after that. 2019, me and Dad had our own effort, helped out by family, friends, and you had some local sponsors come on board that really helped out that season and made it possible. So without them I probably wouldn't have been in the position I am in now, because it taught me so much and made me dig in so deep to make sure we got on with it. And then thankfully Robin Appleyard saw something there and handed me the Appleyard ride for last season, and here we are today.
Well, it just goes to show that regardless of talent, you do need those opportunities, don't you? You do need the people who are in the positions to make those decisions, to spot the talent. Yeah,
I mean, everything in life requires a bit of luck. Everybody has their bad luck and everybody has their good luck, and I've had my fair share of both, I think. But you've got to work hard to make sure that when you do get given the opportunities that you make the most of them. And I feel like last year was one of those. I tried my absolute hardest because I knew if I had a good season last year it could really make a lasting effort, and obviously FS3 Racing saw something as well and have given me a superbike ride for this season. Well,
let's move on to that. So here we are. You're going to be one of the newbies in the superbike paddock in the Bennetts British Superbike Championship.
Yep.
And with a Kawasaki too, that Ninja ZX10. It's new. It's the one that Johnny Ray's dominated the World Championship on in the last 6 or 7 years. Does that give you an almighty great hope that it's the right bike to be on?
I think in BSB everything's so close anyway that it's quite marginal, but the Kawasaki, as we've seen over the last few years, has Leon Haslam winning the championship and Jake Dixon being a close second. It proves it's a worthy bike, and Danny Buchan last year and my teammate Lee Jackson, they had some great rides as well, podiums in such a short season, which was really strange for everyone. So it shows that the team are definitely more than capable of being right up the front end. And I think with seeing what Jonathan Ray's done so far on the new bike and testing, even though it's going to be a different specification for BSB with the electronics, I think it's definitely going to be a step closer again to the front end. And hopefully I can learn how the bike works over the testing over the next couple of months, and we can make a good impact through the season. I've not got any expectations really. It's just see how the testing goes, and I'll just work my way through the season.
Have you ridden a superbike yet?
I've ridden a Stock 1000. I've done some testing. The team have very kindly gave me a practice bike to use, so I've been putting in the miles on that over the off season when possible. Managed to get out to Spain for 3.5 weeks, and done a nice selection of tracks out there. So I've got the miles in on that, and I'm feeling comfortable with the power now. But obviously, as maybe not too many people know, the Stock 1000 to a superbike is completely different. There's not a lot at all that is that similar. So jumping from one to the other will be different, but I think with the team that I've got behind me and being a factory Kawasaki supported team, I think we can make a quick transition.
Does that make you feel a lot more comfortable, the fact that they are factory supported and you do have Lee Jackson as your teammate, and the team is well established, and they've had a front runner, a race winner in Danny Buchan before? Does that give you confidence that those guys are fully aware and they know what to do with this particular superbike, and you can just kind of get on with what you need to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going into a team that's proven. It's very similar to the Appley. I get very similar vibes from FS3 as I do from going into the Appleyard team. It seems like a really close-knit family team, which for me works well. I like it when everything is nice and kind of just everything feels connected and everything feels as one when you're as a team. And from the experience I've had chatting to them, it feels like that as well. So yeah, I think having the experience from the team, they've been there and they've done it over the last few seasons, and I think, yeah, with a new bike and being supported by Kawasaki as well, being an official team, it does make a difference. It might not mean we get any special parts or anything, but the technical help we'll get will be invaluable, especially with a new bike this season.
So it's been 6 months, I think, since anyone last raced in the British Championship. Other than the 3.5 weeks in Spain, what else have you been doing to prepare for this year?
I've been on my bicycle as much as I possibly can. I've just been training basically every single day. I've been out mountain biking. As you've probably seen on your road trip up here, the scenery is certainly something, and for mountain biking as well, it's pretty awesome. So, I've just been working on myself, making sure I'm as fit as I can be, and yeah, I mean, obviously bike time was very important. I've been riding my supermoto when I can, and I've also got Kawasaki very thankfully gave me a motocross bike for some of the off season as well. So bike time for me has been paramount, and yeah, I'm feeling good. But so it has been a long winter, and I am looking forward to getting back racing. So
Silverstone test in the next few days, and then we go to Snetterton and Oulton, and then of course round 1 at Oulton, round 2 here at Knockhill.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be in a position there at coming to your home circuit, and the fans will be here too? Does that surely gives you a boost?
No, definitely. Just thinking about that makes me feel pretty happy. But I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I had a good time testing it on the practice bike in Spain, and yeah, it was nice to be out there and be riding at a good pace. But the superbike is a different animal, and BSB is, as everybody knows, is a very close and tough championship. So I mean, I'll see how the testing goes, Michael. I'll see how I feel there, and obviously be up against everyone else. So we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. I'm not putting any pressure on myself or any expectations on it yet. And the team are the same. I know from them there's no expectations coming from them. They just want me to enjoy myself, try my best, and bring home some nice results every now and then.
I have spoken to several other riders on this trip, and we've kind of unearthed the fact that it's a bit of a golden generation, a golden time. BSB a couple of years ago was known as the Old Man's Championship, and all of a sudden you've got yourself, you've got Tarran, Mackenzie, Ryan Vickers, Storm Stacey, Brad Jones, all these guys who are 23 and under, and you've got this brilliant British generation of hugely talented riders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the British riders, the calibre of British riders that's coming through at the minute is really strong. As you saw, Jake Dixon's transition into Moto 2 showed how good and competitive the British Championship is. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think it is kind of coming into a golden era of BSB. I think there's a lot of riders going to be in there with a shout of being right up at the front. So, yeah, it'll be nice to see how we get on over the next couple of years riding a superbike, and I think it'll be some quality racing as per usual.
Yeah, it's always a good one. Go on then, make a prediction. Who's your top 3 for the championship?
That's a tough one. I don't really want to say
it's so close, isn't it?
I don't really want to say until we get to the testing. I think there'll be a couple of eye openers. Obviously with Kawasaki bringing out the new bike, I think that'll make everything a bit closer as well. It's always going to be Brooksy's always going to be there, isn't he? And I think Tarran will be right up there as well, and Jason O'Halloran as well. So I think it'll be an interesting season, and we'll see how it goes.
Are those the kind of guys who you'll be looking at to follow for a few laps, just to find out what they're doing, where they're doing it?
It's hard to say. I keep saying all these. Oh, it's hard to say this and it's hard to say that, but until I swing my leg over the superbike, I'm not going to know where I'm at. And I think once I've got Silverstone testing under my belt, I'll be in a much better position to say what I'm going to be able to do and who I'm going to be able to follow and what I'm going to learn. So I think if you check in with me after Silverstone, I think I'll be able to give you a better update then. But yeah, I think it'll be just learning for me. Anybody I can get in behind, they're going to be more experienced than what I am my first year in the championship. So I'll be like a sponge soaking it all in, and hopefully I can pick up 1 or 2 things.
It's a deal. We'll come and talk to you at Silverstone in that case.
No problem.
Rory, thanks for your time. Good luck
Thank
with the
you very much,
championship.
Michael. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Right, that's it then. Conclusion of day 2. We are heading south and Cadwell Park tomorrow. See you there. Glenn, mate, thank you so much for availing yourself for us. You obviously, you got your leathers on. It's a bit of a giveaway what you're up to. You don't just parade around in those all day, do you? Because they're comfortable.
No, yeah, it's great to have them back on. It's in Harv. It felt so weird being in kit. I've had the motocross helmet on lately a bit, but putting it back on, it's best feeling in the world, I guess, isn't it? It's what we sort of live for. It's what my life evolves around, and yeah, it's mint.
Mate, we spoke last month, didn't we, about all the things you've been doing over the last 6 months, really, since you last raced a motorbike, and you've lost a bit of weight, you've done a lot of training, and you've got all sorts going on. It's been a busy time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been, and I feel quite good. I was just saying to you as well, so much going on at the minute. We're moving house at the minute, and that fell through with the old vendors not signing their contracts. So yeah, life's good. Life's busy at the minute. That these are modern day problems, which you got to get on with. So it's been a mad week, but nice to be at Cadwell and switch off from Property Pal for an hour or two, because that's all I've been doing from that fell through. It's like, right, we need to find a house. So this is what we do best, and I'm happy that I've been able to come here and switch my head into race mode. I've got a bit of a flu. I don't have COVID because we did a test yesterday. So it's been a long day to get here as well. A lot of travelling, but so worth it to be back on the new Fireblade with the guys.
How did it feel first time you turned it on? First time you released the clutch and headed down onto the circuit here at Cadwell?
It was, today was different because obviously Takumi and Rio are here, and they've so much to learn, and I'm very aware that we have a lot to test, but we also have a lot of time to do that. It's not like last year. We have a lot of testing planned, and we're going to have parts to test at tests rather than race events. So I spent the first half of the day every session with the boys, making sure, always looking over my shoulder, making sure I didn't pull too far away, and we started really slow, but I think that was nice for me as well, just riding the bike around, not even finding one limit, no lock in the front, no spin in the rear, having a bit of crack, and nearly taking a wee bit of pleasure and looking behind and going, right, I'm going another bit quicker, and they're still there. And it's like, racing's a selfish game. It's also nice to help your team, and them guys have brought a lot to the table this year as well, obviously in parts and stuff, so works both ways, and I'm content to do that. So it was an easy introduction as such.
Makes it easy for you, doesn't it? I suppose you can then build up to a kind of pace that you're comfortable with in this. I'm always fascinated by the word shakedown. I never really, I must giggle like a schoolboy, really.
Yeah, it does. But in saying that, you go out, you spend a couple of sessions with boys, and then Spider's like, right, out you go, you're on your own now, and you've new tyres, and you just go, wah! straight into it, and suddenly all these little aches and pains come, and that's the nature of Cadwell. I'm like, oh, my shoulders are sore. You ride 4 or 5 laps in anger around here, and we all get it. You do so much training in the gym, and then you find parts of your shoulders and arms that you can't even find in the gym. So yeah, that became quite apparent. So I nearly preferred going slower. It was an easier ride, but we've made good progress today. Chris Pike's working with the team, and some good ideas, and we're being methodical and using today in the right manner.
So in the gym, and in fact in everyday life, the last 6 months, you don't have 240 horsepower and sit like this. There's nothing that can prepare you for that.
No, you try the 450 motocross bike, and I'm grateful to Honda for the use of that, but it's not the same, is it? I love motocross, and it gets you bike fit, and it dials your brain in and your concentration, but BSB, I think, like Takumi has obviously came from World Superbikes, anti-wheelie, electronics, Suzuki 8R bikes, and yes, Cadwell is a difficult track, but I think he's like, oh, my body, my shoulders, and it's tough on you, but that's the nature of the beast, and we work hard and we enjoy it, and respect it.
I bet you wanted to film the reaction of Takumi and Rio as soon as you said that. Right, here's Cadwell Park, then there's the mountain.
Yeah, well,
what do you reckon?
I told Harv, because the initial plan was we would go out, whatever way it was working. There's been a change, maybe 2 of us would be on track at a time, so I said, look, whoever's on track with me in the first session, get the other one to the mountain for the first lap, and just video camera him sneakily. I'd love to see his reaction when he watches, like me, if it was Takumi, if he watched me and Rio come over the mountain, because it would be like, whoa, these bikes aren't meant to do this, but
it's not quite Suzuki, is it?
No, it's funny. I'm asking him things, and he's like, yeah, no, we don't have this in Japan, but them guys they're top class riders. I think they're gonna do well. And we've got to respect they don't know the series and the track and maybe the tyres and the way of life. There's a lot for them to change, but I have to focus on myself, but at the same time I respect how fast they can be.
Part of what we're doing is visiting all the British Superbike circuits. Sorry,
keeping
the
an eye on
Bennetts British Superbike Championship circuits, and Cadwell Park's the final one on our rounds, and we're trying to talk to a local rider each one now. Obviously, your accent's not Louth, but the team is just down the road, isn't it? And this is your second season with Honda, second season on this new Fireblade. How do you approach the season? Very differently, of course, to last year, because it's a new bike and you're new to this team. Do you feel much more settled? Do you feel as though you've got an advantage over a lot of other competitors who have either got new teams or new bikes?
Tricky one. I think the key is to approach it in the same way, because an approach that Harv and the kind of professionalism that there is in this team helped me in so many ways. So I think we'll keep that. In terms of a technical side, we will have parts to try. We won't be giving it, on a shortened weekend like last year where you have 2 practice sessions, I think, and it's like, oh, try that. We're leading the championship, I don't want to make the wrong call. So we have the time to be methodical, which is how I'm trying to be in every way of my life. And we have the parts we have the parts coming, and we got to keep that methodical approach with them parts, or else we won't evaluate them correctly. So very same approach, only we have more areas to apply it to, because some areas didn't exist last year because there wasn't development through no one's fault. It was through the global sort of pandemic that we're perhaps still in a little bit. But same approach. Different teammates is really the biggest change. Staff have swapped around a bit, but got to be open to change, don't you? If you throw your head up at that, then you're kicking off in the wrong foot. So
you're experienced enough with this championship as well in your career. But for you, last year, 2020, it was a good year for you. You won races. You were in the title fight to the bitter end. And here we are with let's say a more established bike, a bike that clearly is a great package. And you must be buzzing for the season to start, right? You've got Silverstone in a few days, you've got a few more tests, and then, okay, we appreciate we're a couple of months away from the first round at Oulton. And
gives me time to get over this flu.
and find a house. But, you must be buzzing for the season, right?
Yeah, I am.
More so than ever?
I think in the past I've went into seasons with high expectations or exuberance, and that can be dangerous as well. So probably no more so. I'm very aware of not letting the wrong attitude creep in, so I'm in a calm manner. I'm excited for the season. I love riding the Honda Fireblade. That has been clear to see from the first test was on the road bike in Almeria, and then we went to Qatar with you guys. Yeah. That was phenomenal, and I really have enjoyed this bike from day one. So when you love something, you love riding this package, you look forward to doing it again. Doesn't mean because you enjoyed it last year that you can arrive with a different attitude. Last year's attitude nearly worked, didn't it? We weren't too far away, so I think we'll bring the same attitude, and we'll try to improve the bike. I've tried to work on my weak areas. I'm a little bit lighter. Maybe you have to tweak this, tweak that. After riding today, I'll maybe know where I'm niggly tomorrow. Concentrate on that in the gym, and it's simple, really, isn't it?
Simple, yeah, of course. Yeah. So every racer in this championship must think, oh, well, I'm going to win the title, aren't I? But who's going to finish second? Your brother? Your teammates? The championship holder?
Could be me, couldn't it? So, yeah, there's you could be first in this championship, or you could be 10th, because...
But if you're going to win, who's going to finish second?
Say out of respect for them all, I respect all the guys so much, I wouldn't pick one, because I don't rate any higher than the other. I always said, I think there's 10 top class riders in this championship that could go on and be top class riders I wouldn't say higher levels. In World Superbike, Johnny Ray is a different level, and Scott, came in and showed his class. A lot of these guys with the time and the package could cut it there as well. So, yeah, they're all good. They're all great.
That's what makes the championship so good, right? It's so competitive.
It's so hard to predict, isn't it? It's like, did I go in last year thinking I'll win it round one? No. Definitely not. But did I go to Brands Hatch thinking they'll be 12th or something? No, definitely not. So you just don't know, do you?
Glenn, thanks for your time. Good luck for the season.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
See you at Silverstone.
Keep her up.
Good, that's it. 8 out of 8. We've done all the circuits. It's a big old tour. Let's go home.
Safe home, boys.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, right.
Well, mate, 1,150 miles done in 2 and a bit days. We've got 50 miles home. We've done all 8 of the 2021 Bennetts British Superbike Championship circuits. We've seen 6 riders. It's been a good trip. What are the highlights?
The highlights. I think the interesting thing for me is that as that kind of casual MotoGP fan who's got a vague interest in British Superbike, I'm now, having met some of the guys and understood some of the stories, and now you've explained some of the narratives, I'm fascinated to see how everyone gets on. Having met sort of all these young kids who are up and coming and seen their characters, it just shows you how important sort of character is to sport in terms of developing an interest. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for the season now. So yeah, that's been great. Yeah. And the riding's been pretty good as well, to be fair. We've ridden in some pretty horrible weather, but some really beautiful weather and some beautiful places. Yeah. So yeah, all in all, it's been...
That North Pennines bit, and then we did that just as we went into over the border into Scotland, that section there, was terrific. Yeah. In a way, I think we rode such a great road last night when it was, the weather was minging, wasn't it? So we had wet, cold, dark, whatever, but it was still...
Down the A68, yeah, but hey, it makes you want to go back and try it again when it's sunny and dry. And
mate, I think you touched on a really good point about you said young riders, and a lot of them are, aren't they? I hadn't realised until we started this trip how young. And we've used the term golden generation, or something I have, in many of these interviews, and it's fascinating in a way to see that top level of British motorsport, and it's, you know, it's recognised as such a premium championship around the world, and it's full of teenagers, or you know, the average age must be, and I'm not a betting man, but I'd probably put money on the fact that the average age of this year's grid is significantly lower than it has been for the last 15 years at least.
Yeah.
It bodes well though, doesn't it?
It does bode well. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the previous golden generation, the Cal Crutchlows and the Tom Sykeses and the Johnny Rays coming through, all those guys. There was a period a while back when the grid was full of this young talent, and it kind of, to me now, maybe feels a bit like that as well. Some of the older generation have sort of gone, see you later shaky, and there's just these new kids coming through, which is great. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be great to watch. And of course it's going to be great because after last year's kind of kerfuffle, if we can get back to some kind of normality and have a straight season.
I've got to praise MSV in a way that they've pushed the championship back. All right, we're missing the racing, and it will, by the time that Oulton Park Round 1 comes along, it'll be something like 8 months since the previous BSB race. But they're doing it because at least the fans will be able to get in, which is great. And I think the riders are craving that too.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, full credit to them. I mean, full credit for last year's performance. I mean, you know, bike sport in general, Dorna with MotoGP as well, you know, getting the season to happen at all. And then what a season. And for British Superbike to actually happen, you know, it's...
And it's still got close racing, it's still action-packed.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
and then the old Hayabusa's been running well, hasn't she?
I've exchanged atoms with this bike, and got sort of a newfound respect. And I hope it respects me a little bit. You know, we've kind of bonded. I've put something into it, and it's given me something back. Yeah. It's been absolutely flawless. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and that stuff about the riding position, I'm not aching. I haven't got any real problems anywhere. It's just you lock yourself in, and you're on a mission, and you go for it. Whereas, you know, I got a feeling that you on that armchair, it's all mod cons.
It's a fast armchair.
You could have been in a car for the.
It's fast.
No, I'm making that. Go on, tell me that you've.
Before that,
got
I tell you what.
Out of it.
The fact that I mentally noticed that only once did I see a leg stretch from you on that kind of bike over those kind of miles is remarkable, really.
Yeah, I was actually riding along thinking, I'm not going to show him, I'm hurting, I'm going to hide the pain. So go on, tell me about the Multistrada then. I mean, it's got the lot, hasn't it?
It's been a fantastic weapon for this particular trip. It's been, you know, when we get to the twisty bits and you know, we want to enjoy motorcycles on the North Pennines or the B roads. It's been ideal. I mean, all right, I'm carrying a bit more weight with the panniers, but it still felt really, really good. It does give you that feeling, especially with the V4 with the noise. The noise is a funny thing. I mentioned it. We've got these Cardo systems, haven't we? So we've been talking about it, and I mentioned it to you about the fact that it's noisy enough, and you like the sound of an Akrapovic with a V4, and it's like the perfect little maths sum, isn't it? The 2 + 2. But actually, when it does come on song, you're going too fast. When you do get to hear it's
which is funny because you mentioned those Cardo systems. I can hear your voice clearly, but I can't hear the bike most of the time, which is quite clever technology. I doubt it does that until you gun it. and then I can hear it in my ears, and it's like, oh, he's going for it now. I can hear him.
And then the opposite end, it's got that adaptive cruise control. So actually, it was a bit of a ploy in a way. So I followed you a lot of the way, and I just stuck it on the cruise control, and it would just literally sit behind you. You speed up, it would speed up, and you slow down, and vice versa. And I kept the gap constant. It's such an easy thing to ride. It is such an easy thing to ride. Comfortable as anything. It's got a lovely big screen. It's got the heated grips and heated seats for like the mornings when it's a bit chilly, and I've gotten so well with it. I'm really pleased. If only I could find out how to reset the trip.
And then this Cardo system sort of seems to work quite well. I mean, once I'd got mine to fit properly, because I was stupid and tried to fit it with some of the packaging still attached, so it was hurting my ears. As soon as I worked that out, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's audible up to, I'd say, about 80-90 miles an hour on a sports bike, which is fairly wind noisy anyway. With earplugs in, I can still hear you talking.
Yeah.
So I just needed to go a bit faster, and I wouldn't have heard you at all.
You know full well that this is sponsored by Cardo, but having this Pack Talk Bold system, I found it brilliant. I mean, we've spent a lot of time on the motorbikes in the last 2.5 days, and just chatting around and shooting the breeze, and what's this like? And actually for navigation, it's been a lot easier. You know, when I get to lead, you've got the sat nav, but you're telling me next exit, and I'm really into them. I mean, you can play your radio, play your music, and I like them a lot.
I wasn't convinced at first, because I was thinking I'm not completely antisocial, but one of the things I do on a motorbike is, especially, I find I concentrate much better if I'm not, kind of not talking to someone's not talking to me. But you quickly establish a kind of a pattern of conversation whereby, I don't know, it seems to me like if there's a part of the road that you want to enjoy the riding, that's the bit where everybody just stays quiet.
It's true that. Yeah.
And then when you're sitting on a motorway, you can chatter away to your heart's content. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Good, excellent. Well, thank you for your navigation expertise and for your company, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it too, and you're looking forward to the BSB season. And if you get a chance to ride a Hayabusa or a Multistrada, then we certainly recommend them both. Thanks to Cardo, thanks to you, Mr. Hargreaves, and we'll. If you've got any comments, questions, you know where to leave them. Get in touch, and we'll see you next time.
Your day-long trip or something, isn't it? Yeah, we've just been to Snetterton, Brands, Thruxton, here, Donington, Oulton Park tonight. Motorways the whole way. But tomorrow we've got tomorrow we've got Knockhill. Yeah. And we're going to go up just every twisty road available. That'd be good. Hey dude, you alright?
Yeah, alright, yeah. Had a busy April.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
How do, mate?
Oh, I'm not going in.